I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks so much for joining us here on Closing Arguments. We have a couple big stories we're going to tackle right here. But I want to preface this with the first story is one that has a lot of people angry, myself included. Really angry. We're talking about a young woman, 22 years old. Her name is Gabby Petito, is missing. And there's someone who could help a lot in figuring out what happened to her. Someone who could help a lot in explaining where she is or where she was last seen. The story you may know, Gabby, sort of a free spirit, along with her boyfriend of a couple of years. At one point, they were actually engaged to be married, decided they were too young to get married, but they're 22, 23 years old. Take off on this summer-long tour of the country and, posting all the stuff on social media. He comes home in the van that they were driving around for months together. He comes home alone in the van, says nothing, says absolutely nothing. Doesn't call up his former fiancée, girlfriend's parents to say something happened, she's not here. Just nothing, other than talk to my lawyer. So now you've got parents and a family that is desperate to find their girl. She's missing. Heather Lee from WFTS, from our great affiliate in Tampa, has the story tonight.
Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito lived here with his family at their Northport, Florida home. The two set out on a cross-country road trip. Laundrie arrived back here September 1st in Petito's 2012 white Ford Transit van alone. 10 days later, Petito's family reported her missing, and Laundrie has yet to say a word to police about where she is. The family is asking us to use video and images from Gabby's social media accounts in an effort to find her. Grand Teton National Park. Gabby Petito's family say that's where she was when they last spoke to her August 25th. 2,300 miles away in Northport, Florida, Brian Laundrie, Petito's 22-year-old boyfriend, is not speaking to police, even though he spent the last 4 to 5 months traveling with her on a cross-country road trip.
I think we're just pleading with him at this point to please speak with us. We need to understand those details. They put out a release yesterday saying they remain in the background. That is not good enough. We need the details.
At this time, none of the Laundrie family is going to issue a statement except through myself.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I've advised them that that's the way it needs to be.
Petito's family officially reported her missing September 11th. 10 days prior, Laundrie arrived at the Northport home he shares with Petito and his parents in her van alone.
We definitely processed that vehicle yesterday with the FBI. Certainly, there was some material in there that we'll be going through. I don't know that we're at a situation of releasing all of those details.
We're now learning the couple may have been fighting during their trip. They made a stop in Moab, Utah on August 12th. A witness told the police he saw the two arguing over a phone. He says it seemed Laundrie had locked Petito out of the van and saw her hitting his arm and attempting to climb through the driver's window. The two eventually drove off. Police say they caught up with Laundrie and Petito. She was, quote, crying uncontrollably, and they both told police that Petito suffers from serious anxiety. The report goes on to say issues had been building between the two after spending so much time traveling together. They insisted they were fine and did not want to be separated. Police decided what happened between the two did not, quote, escalate to a level of domestic violence as much as that of a mental health crisis. They put Laundrie in a hotel anyway and let Petito take the van.
I just wish people would understand that there are two families involved here, and it is not easy for either one of them.
Petito's family have released a statement saying they are growing more desperate as they frantically search for answers. They say in part, quote, Brian left Gabby in the wilderness with grizzly bears and wolves. Whatever happened in Wyoming happened. The only thing you can control is what you do now. Tell us where Gabby is.
I think with every minute, more details come in, more things are worked on. I can tell you right now, we do not have, a definitive answer here, but they are working on it.
If you have any information about this case, you're asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. We have posted that to our website, abcactionnews.com. In Northport, Florida, Heather Lee, ABC Action News.
Outrageous. Completely outrageous. I understand the Constitution. I'm a lawyer. I know why a lawyer tells people don't say anything, right? We cover trials here on Court TV. We know the way it turns out when you start talking. But that's for people who've been charged with murder and for doing something wrong. What's going on here? And then the lawyer says it's not easy for either family. Really? Really? Because one family has their child in their home safe tonight. The other family has no idea where their child is. And they know that someone knows, and the person who knows refuses to talk. Someone who at some point, I guess, had professed his love for this young woman. Are you kidding me? All right, Josh Taylor is the public information officer for the North Point Police Department, who are taking the lead on all of this. Take a listen to some of the back and forth as he was answering questions from the media.
Josh, how concerning is it knowing that Brian there were 10 days where you were hearing insane?
Yeah, I think we can all make come up with an idea of what that means. I don't know that we're at the point of solidifying anything. We don't know what Brian knows. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we're hopeful to talk to him. He needs to talk to us. We need to know exactly where he was, where she was, their last locations. And the fact that he was back here for 10 days, there was, again, the family reported her missing 10 days later. I think we're just pleading with him at this point to please speak with us. We need to understand those details. They put out a release yesterday saying they remain in the background. That is not good enough. We need the details.
Do you plan to escalate those requests?
As far as doing what? I mean, we all have the Fifth Amendment right in this country not to speak. Anything under the law that we are capable and able to do to try to get information, whether it be through Brian or anyone else, we will do.
Yeah, Josh, why was he named a person of interest? Why did you come to that conclusion?
I think most people would come to that conclusion in this case. He was the last known person that we have information was around her. How you define person of interest is up to you, but certainly we are interested in talking with him.
What does not cooperating look like?
One at a time. Who's going? You've gone.
What does the non-cooperating look like? What is he?
Okay, so here's the situation that happened. We went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were essentially handed the information for their attorney. That is the extent of our conversation with them. It's my understanding we have had some conversations with his attorney, but certainly nothing to the level of providing us the details that we would like.
What about the details in Utah of this alleged response from the Moab Police Department?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of information on that. I know that there was an incident in Utah prior to this. That could potentially be some information we'll have later today.
Who called the cops?
Again, I don't know.
There's another incident in Utah where 2 women were killed that were also living in. Are we possibly talking about
I've heard that theory. I am unaware of us linking that at this point to that.
Josh, yesterday you said you guys were sifting through data and trying to find really a timeline. Have you guys been able to find her cell phone?
That is something that we are wanting to locate for sure. We've got detectives working around the clock with the FBI, using every technological resource known to man. I don't know if that answered your question. But.
Josh, the Instagram account, Gabby's Instagram account, has been restored. Do you have any knowledge of what happened?
I can tell you that we were initially made aware of that by the media this morning, and we are looking into that. That was, to my knowledge, that was not something that we have done.
All right, her Instagram account is back up. Apparently it was an Instagram mistake, right? I'm aggravated. Let me bring in my guest tonight. I'm sure they're aggravated as well. Joining us tonight in Jacksonville, Alabama, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, forensic media analyst, and former senior investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, Joseph Scott Morgan. And in Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen, who's been doing his own investigation here in this case with the connections to Utah. Joseph Scott Morgan, let me start with you. Initial reaction to the reaction of Brian Laundrie driving home in her van. It's not even his van. It's her van by himself and saying nothing.
You know, at some point in time, Vin, you have to put aside whatever your own personal self-interest is and help out. She's been missing now for a protracted period of time. And, you know, the family's right. You know, this is in a wilderness area we're talking about. We're talking about this young woman who, you know, admittedly, according to the family, she's got some anxiety issues and all this sort of thing. Can you imagine just being, let's not talk about anything that's truly nefarious. Let's just say he just put her out of the van and left her out there in the middle of nowhere. Just give us some clues, give us some crumbs so that the investigators can follow. This family is being absolutely tortured at this moment in time. And then he goes home with the van, which they were indwelling in for weeks.
Goes home to his mommy. Goes home to his mommy, Jason.
Yes.
In Florida. That's where he went. Drove home to his mommy. I mean, this is beyond outrageous to me. And again, just like Josh Taylor from the police down there said, yeah, we understand the Fifth Amendment and everything else, but we need some information. We've got someone who's missing and someone who obviously has information that could help.
Yeah, it's very offensive to the sense to think that he can just hide and pretend like his girlfriend's not missing and no obligation to assist in the process. One of the things that wasn't just mentioned in the story here, he was up to Northport on September 1st. Meanwhile, somebody texted from her phone to her mother on August 30th saying that there's no service in Yosemite. So whoever sent that text message was trying to insinuate that she's live and well in California, which why would she be there without her boyfriend, without her own car?
Yeah, that makes zero sense. All right, Joseph Scott Morgan, let's get into the investigation now. As we said, the van is not his, it's hers. Investigators have the van now. So
yeah.
Talk about what they're going to do with that van and what they're looking for and what they could potentially find.
Okay, let me explain something to you. Our viewers are so bright and they already understand this, but just let me touch on this very briefly. Because they have been living in this van for this protracted period of time, there is already going to be DNA evidence that's contained within that. That is evidence of a life lived within this environment. That is things like touch DNA and just the day-to-day activity. One of the things they're going to be looking for, though, if we're thinking that something nefarious may have happened in the van, something criminal, they're going to have to look for things like tufts of hair. Lord knows I hate to say this, but any kind of blood evidence that might be contained in there. And keep in mind, he was in possession of this van for a protracted period of time before it came into the possession of the law enforcement agencies involved in this. So what could have happened to the interior of that van in the meantime, as far as preservation or lack thereof of valuable evidence? And we want to know what is contained in it and what has been the series of events that have led to finally this van making its way home. Has it been tracked? Is there some way to track it? Did he pull over on the side of the road to try to clean it? Did he go to a car wash? Anything like this is going to be valuable information for us moving forward.
Jason Jensen, that cell phone, they don't have the cell phone, but if there's a text, like you mentioned, that is sent on the 30th, are they going to be able to figure out where that cell phone was when that text was sent? I think Jason frozen. Joseph Scott Morgan, pick it up. We lost our connection to Jason Jensen. Will they be able to figure out where that cell phone was?
Yeah, they will be able to triangulate it, hopefully. Remember, they've got a whole network of law enforcement agencies that are on this now, uh, not the least of which is the FBI. So they can marshal all of their resources. We've got an individual that has been crossing multiple jurisdictions, moving in and across state lines. And as of today, or maybe yesterday, the National Park Service is involved because they visited multiple locations along this. And let's keep in mind, Vin, this is not like we're back in the 50s, all right, where you just drop a buck or two in the box and you just go pull into an RV spot. There are now points of registration where when you enter these parks, they actually make note of this. All you got to do is talk to somebody that's been up to Yellowstone. Man, that line just to get in goes back miles and miles and miles. So there will be little crumbs along the way that can be followed, and of course the electronic surveillance that can be brought to bear relative to cell phone information.
So how about finding the cell phone itself? How difficult is that? I mean, you can trace it to a certain point, but if that thing is turned off and tossed and destroyed and
Yeah.
tossed, I mean, can you track it down?
Well, I think that you can go to the point in which it last pinged. But beyond that, I don't know that they're going to have much luck relative to that. Then I don't know how much you've traveled in this area. It is a vast, vast area. It is well. There's a reason people go here. They want to get away from it all. They want to experience nature. And boy, can you ever experience nature out here? There's limited cell phone service. There's also any number of areas that are pure wilderness that are only for the most hardy of individuals that want to get out there and really experience what life is like out west. And so that's going to make this doubly difficult for all of the law enforcement agencies. And let's just think about all of those that are involved. Remember, the missing persons case is actually originating out of New York. This is not originating out of Utah or Wyoming or even down in Florida. So that's where this is actually originating from. So you've got a lot of this connectivity that's having to take place at a local level, and then you get the feds involved in it. I'm just hoping somebody is going to have their hand on the wheel relative to this to kind of guide everything through, because the most important thing right now is that we find this young lady and find her right way, right now.
All right. Tomorrow night, members of her family will be joining us here on the show. So make sure you're watching tomorrow night, and hopefully there's a huge update for this family, which has got to be, I can't imagine what they're going through right now.
No.